Hey everyone, Jonathan Shaw here, founder of Decoding Pain, and in this video we're going to cover part 3 of my process to solving chronic pain. Now in part 2 I talked about the importance of understanding the root causes of pain, and if you can't remember what they are, I've talked about it in many videos. Just a quick recap: the 3 causes are poor flexibility, poor movement, and a biological stress. So I covered why understanding those is very important before you can move forward and start to solve the problem. In this video we're going to cover the first one. We're going to talk about the biological stress and how you start resolving that, because now you understand the 3 causes, you now need to address the 3 causes. You need tools and techniques to address those problems, and the therapist you see needs to have the tools and techniques to address all 3 of those problems. So they mustn't be addressing your symptoms, they must be addressing one of those 3 causes. And in this video I'm going to kind of briefly explain how to address, or how I would address, the root cause, which is the biological stresses. Now when I say biological stresses, what do I mean? I don't mean mental or emotional stresses. A lot of people think that stress is mental or emotional. That's actually not true. When it comes to chronic pain or illness, the stress is actually biological, and you have to find a way to switch that stress off. That's why you can't switch it off with your mind or your emotions. You have to do it from a biological point of view. So you need a way to do that. Now I actually have my own system for doing that called DTO, which stands for doing the opposite, and that actually switches off the biological stress that started the process in the first place. And once you do that, the body starts to resolve itself and starts to go back to normal, and the pain starts to disappear. Now there could be one biological stress, or there could be multiple biological stresses, and sometimes you have to switch them all off. But these days, mostly what I do is I switch off what triggers it. So I don't have to go back to your past. I don't have to clear the past traumas or the biological stresses that have happened. I literally just switch off the triggers in your environment today. What's triggering it now? Because everything that's causing your pain is actually being triggered right now in your environment if you're suffering. And in fact, one of the triggers for pain is actually pain itself. So what can happen is, especially if you have chronic pain, when you actually feel that pain coming back on again, or you feel it the next morning when you wake up, or you feel it when you're walking, feeling the pain actually sends your brain into a thought process like, oh my god, I'm never going to get rid of this, or oh my god, I'm getting old, or oh my god, I'm so stiff. And that thought process actually keeps pain running for longer sometimes. So one of the other triggers you have to switch off is actually feeling the pain itself, and that can be switched off very easily, so that when you do feel the pain you don't have that thought process, because that thought process can keep the pain running for longer than is necessary. So there's multiple triggers that you need to switch off from a biological point of view, so the body relaxes and chills out and the cells settle and go back to normal. Now I haven't got a great deal of time to explain all about DTO in this video, but basically DTO just switches off the stress or the thoughts or the emotions that are bothering us. So if you imagine your brain like a giant switchboard, and in your brain you have switches that are on right now that when they get triggered, you start thinking about them, they're negative. So for instance, when you feel pain, what happens is your brain starts going, oh my god, I'm getting old, oh my god, I'm never going to get rid of it, oh my god, I'm stuck, and it starts playing all those thought processes that are very negative. Those switches are on right now, and you've got other switches that are off, like just feeling happy and joyful and relaxed and chilled and no pain and just feeling good. Now my DTO system just kind of flips the switches, so the negative ones go off and the positive ones come on again. And it really is that quick, and it's that simple. It literally just flips a switch, like flipping a light switch on and off in your home. DTO does that in the brain, so that the beliefs and the thoughts and the emotions go off, and the biological shock / trigger goes away, and you feel happier, healthier, and your health returns to normal, and your pain goes away. So it's important to be able to switch off the biological stress or the biological triggers that are triggering your pain. Now there are many techniques out there that can switch off stress. There's some fantastic techniques. I use DTO because I created it myself, and it can switch off some things that other techniques can't, like actually feeling pain. But for clearing normal stresses and triggers and traumas, there are many great techniques out there that you can use. But I prefer to use DTO because it does a lot of different things. It's very quick, it's very simple, and I can actually teach you guys to do it as well in your own time, so you can switch off your own triggers and your own shocks to make, not just get rid of your pain, but also make you healthier and happier generally in life. So it's really important to be able to switch those off. Now, obviously, I don't expect you to know your biological triggers right now. You're going to be sitting there going, well, I don't have any, I can't remember them. And that's okay, I don't expect you to remember them. You do need to find someone who can find those stresses, find those biological triggers, and switch them off with you or show you how to do them. I don't expect you to be able to do it because you don't have the skills or the resources to do it. I'm just explaining what you need to do. You need to find someone who can deal with the stresses in your body, the biological stresses and the triggers, and start switching them off gradually, and also show you how to do that as well. And there are going to be very specific triggers and shocks. They're not going to be general things. So pain in different parts of the body mean different things. So shoulder pain, for instance, is a burden or weight on us. Neck pain is an injustice. Knee pain is competition or performance. Headaches and migraines, they're something different. Back pain is feeling unsupported or feeling walked over, or your core values going against. Foot pain is wanting to kick somebody. All of the different body parts mean something else, and those are the biological responses. So you need to understand what the body part means and what the biological response. So the main biological response for muscles and tendons is our self-worth. It's our value for ourselves. It's not feeling good enough in some way. So if it's our shoulder, for instance, we may have a burden, something burdening us, and we don't feel good enough to resolve it or to be able to accomplish it or to be able to do it. So if let's say, for instance, the burden is our work, it's weighing down on us, we may not feel good enough or capable of doing that particular task, of doing that job. So it can be, once you understand the biological stress, you can find out what it is very quickly, and by using my system DTO, you can switch it off very quickly as well, just by knowing what the biological stress is. So if you don't know what your biological stresses are and you're still suffering in pain, you can give me a call. We can talk on the phone. You can email me, and we can find out what the biological stress is so we can switch it off. That's not the whole story. Once you've found the biological stress and you've switched it off, you do often then need to do the correct body work and the correct rehabilitation. And we're going to cover those in parts 4 and 5 of my 4-step process. But this video is all about the biological stress. And I've given you a brief overview of kind of what the biological stress is. But it's a bit more complex than that. And I'm going to go into that in great more detail in the next few videos after I've done my 4-step process. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at jonathan@decodingpain.com, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you can. And if you want to have a consult with me, if you want to speak to me and let me help you get rid of your pain, then by all means contact me either at the email I just said or on my telephone number, which you can find on my website, www.decodingpain.com. Until next time, stay healthy, stay happy, keep smiling, and I'll speak to you on the next video.